Hey fellow explorers, a question people often ask me is, Chris, what camera gear do you use to make your videos? And I'm going to answer that in this video, but since I'm at TravelCon right now with a couple of other famous YouTubers, I thought we'd also see what gear they use to shoot their videos. So to my right we have...
Mark Wolters from Wolters World.
And to my left we have...
I'm Samuel from Samuel and Audrey.
All right, and so we're going to start with Samuel's gear because he's got the fanciest gear in front of us to share what he uses to make his videos. And I've got the microphone. I'll tell you what I'm shooting this on once Mark shares his. So Samuel, what do you use for your travel videos?
Awesome. So at the moment, I am using the Panasonic GH5 Mark II. So when we met up like 5 or 6 years ago in Korea, I was using the GH5. So this is the newer version of that. And now they have a GH6 and GH7, so you can even get all the way there. But this is a great versatile travel camera. I like to call this like the honey badger camera.
Okay,
It's like a pound for pound.
Yeah.
It's a solid find. The thing that's really cool about it, it's weatherproof. You can take it out in any condition. It can be out in rain, it can be out in snow, it can be out in the sun. It's very versatile. I have dropped it a few times.
And it's still okay?
Yeah, it's still chugging along.
Does the lens work when you drop it too?
That's why I've got the hood.
Oh,
yeah, I kind of like
it helps with that.
Yeah,
all right, good.
It's less for the glare and more for my clumsy hands.
Okay, that's good to know. That's a pro tip.
That's a pro tip. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been sharing that. That's okay. So one of my favorite features as well, it has a lot of custom dials. So that means that you can program it to specific things. One program that I have is for B-roll. I have another when we're shooting speaking clips. I have another for slow motion. So it's just like instant, lock it in, and you can have that programmable shooting. I find that really good. Also really like the lens that I have. It's a 12 to 60, and because of the sensor in here, that means you get an effective 24 to 120 millimeter range. So
wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Good
really
zoom.
nice, versatile, and it's wide enough so that you can still get your mug in there holding it like that.
Do you typically handhold it like that, or do you typically put it on something?
I often put it on something. This little,
That right there?
yeah, this one here is more for the smaller camera that I have. But I actually have a bigger one that I didn't bring that is perfect. It's a Manfrotto, and it just goes like that. And then the other
small Manfrotto tripod?
yeah, the small
Okay.
one. The small one's for the small camera, and
Yeah.
then the other one just has longer legs, and it's for this one.
Okay.
So it can handle the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's great about this camera is it fits perfectly with the Rode VideoMic Pro. So I just put it in like this, kind of screw it on, and then it attaches to the video, or to the plug-in right here, and that gives you like almost professional sound. And so you can take it out, terrible weather, and it gives you decent audio. Yeah. And so the other features I love about this camera, excellent slow motion recording. So you get that.
How many frames per second does it do?
You can do 180.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a great camera. We've been using this for years, and I would actually love to get the GH7. That's on my Christmas wish list.
All right.
So I am looking forward to getting that at some
Okay.
point.
Tell us about the small camera you got there.
The small camera. This is the one that my wife Audrey likes to use. So this is the Sony ZV-1F. And this is also a nice versatile vlogging camera. It has a good microphone on here, which you can see there. But unfortunately, I was on a press trip in Sedona a few days ago, lost the wind mic,
Ooh.
and didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just ordered a new one. It'll be home.
How much was the new one?
It's like $15.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's not
too bad.
Not too bad. It's even cheaper than a battery. But this one
Is that a zoom lens or is that a fixed lens on that?
yeah, it's got some zoom, but it's mostly, it doesn't have a very powerful zoom. That would be the one thing that I don't love about it.
Okay.
It has decent image stabilization, but you do compared to this camera, you have to have more of a steady hand for sure. But great for walk and talks, great for general photos.
When do you use the big camera versus the small camera?
Okay, so there's a few different times. So for instance, like if we're walking into a restaurant, going in with this setup, it's not a good idea. You walk in there with the mic and everyone's like,
Everybody's like, sir, do you have a permit for that?
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of go in, start off with this, maybe have this one available.
In a bag.
The food, in the bag, the food comes, and then maybe bust that out.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
but sometimes I will just use this one. And what's neat is this is also great for like vlogging in airports or something like that. Now, when we'll use this is when we're at home and we want to like a bit more of a professional look, better audio.
Yeah.
And also just like if we're out filming outside, it's a reasonably safe neighborhood. we'll use the bigger camera too. But this one is especially versatile, and put it in your pocket, pull it out, whip it out. Really, these cameras have come such a long way from like 10 years ago. I remember the audio on these smaller point and shoot cameras used to just be awful. Now it's actually a decent feature. Like the audio is pretty decent on this.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah, that's what we're using at the moment. And I do have a drone at home, and also have a GoPro, and those aren't used as much. These are the two go-tos.
The mainstays. All right.
Yeah,
Samuel,
yeah.
thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Mark,
cool.
what do you use?
Yeah, so I'm not quite that fancy. So when I actually walk around town, when I do my B-roll for everything, I actually just use my Samsung S23 Ultra.
Yeah.
Because now cameras on the phones are so good, and it's not as like, I'm not making a big scene. I'm just a guy taking an 8-second, 10-second B-roll shot here and here.
Yes.
And so it's really nice. And I will say one of the problems with this is the face camera. When I want to do like this, my arm isn't quite. You need, that's why I use my little like trusty tripod to get that little. Literally, it's like 2 more inches.
To
I
pull
can
a
get
little
the
further
stuff
away.
there.
Yeah.
But this has been helpful when I want to do like trips like this. We were in Tucson where I was speaking at TravelCon, so I'm like, I'm not really here to make a lot of videos, so I don't have my big setup. So I literally will just bring this, and I'll actually film. And so I'll find a road place, plop this up, and put it on there. And this thing actually films very well. Like when I have like good sound, not a lot of wind, works really well. I've really enjoyed this. I've gone since the Samsung S5. So they were on the 20. This is 20. I need to get the newest one.
Yeah.
But I've been going with this route because the quality they've given me, the pictures and the video, I'm like, I don't have to like take my big camera with me everywhere.
Right.
So I've been very happy with this when I'm going out there. I still remember, I mean, hey, Sam's, if you're listening, could you please put the extra chip in the back so I can have the extra memory in there? That's one of those things. That's why I get the Ultra.
I would love a removable memory card.
Yeah, and because that's what they used to have. That's actually what got me to switch from iPhone over. Now they don't.
And then they got rid of it.
Yeah,
they got you in the ecosystem.
Exactly, like how you're over.
Yeah.
So that's why I get the Ultra, because you got the extra space, but also the Ultra gives you more the zoom. It has the 1, 3, 10, and 10, but you got the 0.6 as well. So you actually get good stuff. And when I zoom out, even when I do like a 0.10, I get like really good shots. So I'm like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
But when I do like if you ever see me talking in my videos, there's like a tripod and I'm just like talking to the camera. That's with a Sony Alpha 700, and I had a 600 before that, and I've had them for years. And what I like about those is they're small enough that, I mean, that's super cool, but I want to make sure I gotta look like a tourist when I'm going there, because once you have the fancy gear, people are like, oh, it's fancy gear people.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they don't share as much. Like I got to say the right thing. Oh well, I'm here, and you have to have the Sonoran hot dog. But there's other good stuff, and so this makes it a little bit easier to talk. But that Sony 600, I could slip it in my pocket. It's a little bit bigger than the Sony that Sam has.
A little bigger than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is though, that the Sonys I have had, those 600, we got multiples, because if you dropped them,
Yeah, they were done.
they're done. They were done, and that kind of sucks.
So when you're doing like a shoot that's important, you'll bring multiple cameras with you.
Well, I have that kind of money. but the thing is, they stand up. Like I can film in the rain.
Yeah.
I can film in the wind, and I had the little boom, just the standard boom
Right.
mic that comes with it. I would put that on there. If I need a little bit extra, I would like just have the little bag it comes in, and I have no wind problem at all.
Nice.
Because that was my big problem. Like back way back in the day when I
Yeah.
literally used to put a Nikon Coolpix on a rock. Wind was an issue.
Yeah.
But with the Sony one, like when they had that, just their normal thing, I didn't have to get anything fancy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect, because when you're starting on YouTube, you don't have a ton of cash. You're
Right.
not making money on this. Like, what can I do? And I kept going for a long time, and to the point that when the last one broke, it fell. I won't say who was filming. I got a text. I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Like, we're in Peru, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the good camera's gone. So it's okay. I'll be strong until like the end of the Peru video goes on with my phone.
Sure.
But it still turned out really good.
Sure.
But that one, I do like the Sony one, because what I like is it really gives you that professional thing. Like, people will be like, hey,
Yes.
what did you use for that? I'm like, and it's not a fancy camera. It's not super expensive.
Right.
So that's one of the things. You can pick it up at your local Best Buy or Saturn if you're in Germany or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've really enjoyed those. In terms of other thing I have, like literally I am phone, small tripod, and I have the Sony Alpha, and that's on a Manfrotto tripod, and it's their travel one, which is nice because it compacts down. It's 5 foot, and you can go a little bit higher, but it compacts down that it fits in a normal backpack.
Nice.
Like you don't have to have the extended one, so I can put it in there. So if I'm going to do a trip where it's like, oh, I don't need to take a ton of stuff. I need like one pair of change of clothes, 2 pairs. I can put that in there, put the tripod, put the Sony in there, have my all my scripts in there, and I can just take that. So I'm not even taking a carry-on. I'm literally a backpack on, and it's perfect. So like I have like 3 of those just in case.
Yeah.
Like that, because you don't always find them. Like, no, I'm going to have that just in case for that. So that's the main stuff I'm using. Like I used to have the DJI, like for the walk around stuff, and the GoPro back in the day when you do that. I do still have a Nikon Coolpix, but I have an underwater one.
Ooh.
Which-
for your
from when we
Scuba
go.
scenes.
Yeah, scuba
Yeah.
scenes. So when we went to the Cayman Islands, I of course left it at home.
So like, it was safe there.
It was safe there.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the drawbacks for the Ultra, if you're gonna get this, if you get any of those underwater like bags to hold your thing, it's too big. If you have a case
they
on
don't
it,
fit 'cause
it
the
doesn't
phone's
fit.
huge.
It's too big. And this is one of those things. If you got like when I try to use this, if I like want to film, and I have to use my other hand to stop it because you can't reach over as well. So you have like a little bit jiggly at the end, so you kind of have to plan that in when you're filming. So that's what I'm using.
Awesome.
But what are you using,
Awesome.
Chris?
Thank you for
Because
sharing
you got
that.
like fancy stuff.
Yes.
We are recording on my gear at the moment. What is this right here? This is a microphone handle. This microphone handle is just $20. It has a DJI Osmo Mic 2 on it, but with the windscreen on it, then all of a sudden it looks like a really professional microphone. Over here is a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This has become my main vlogging camera when we're outside. I used to use bigger cameras. You know, I used to use like a Sony camcorder. I've got the Sony a7S III, and I still use the Sony a7S III if I need to do slow motion or I need to do low light. If I'm shooting Christmas lights, I'll take that out. But for the same reasons that Samuel said of not wanting to look obnoxious in places, like I've had way too many people when I take that camera out, excuse me, sir, you can't record here. And the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, it is so small.
Oh, it's tiny.
It is tiny that nobody ever says anything about it. And so the other thing I like about the Osmo Pocket 3 is I like the wireless microphone.
Yeah,
so I tend to do a lot of walk and talks or like put this on a rock and then go 50 feet away and then walk towards it. And so I like being able to have the microphone. It is on an Insta360 selfie stick that extends and has some 3 little tripod legs. Not good enough to put a camera like this, but it's good enough to put the Osmo Pocket 3. When I am shooting my B-roll, much like Mark, I took the plunge into the Samsung Galaxy S Ultra series. This is the S25 Ultra, terabyte of space on it, so I can hold a lot of B-roll on this. I had the S24, I liked it better. You know why?
Why's that?
Came in yellow. No yellow for the S25 Ultra. So Samsung for the S26, please come back in yellow. What a missed opportunity, right? And so then you might say, Chris, why don't you use this to film things on? And 2 reasons why. One is it'll kill my battery after a while if I'm using this and my phone, so I like having the external camera like this. 2, I like the microphone. You might say, well, Chris, you could use something like this, the DJI Mic 2. This is designed to plug into this phone. And actually, we just started with this earlier today to do this shoot, and I was like, let's plug this in. It's got 2 microphones that you can connect, but the USB wouldn't connect. I have this issue all the time when I use the wireless mics with the and like any phone, just because it's got a physical connection, that then it doesn't work for some reason. And so the fact that the Osmo Pocket wirelessly connects the microphone with no external cable connection means this has never failed me. And it has a big green bar up on the top of it, which means that this whole time I can see that we have audio, because I can't tell you the number of times that I've recorded with something else and then found out I have no audio.
And that's kept me from using some of the lapel mics and the other things. I'm like, I need to see. And that's the thing with the Samsung, or not the Samsung, with the Sony, that you'll see right away, like, oh, you have the audio bars going. So you know, okay, it is filming.
Yes.
So I will say, back on the Sony 700, make sure you have the right setting, because it looks the same in slow motion or normal filming.
Yeah.
And I did like 7 videos in New York City in great locations, and then I checked, I mean, if not, it was like 6 or 7, and then I checked back to see, and I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh.
No, I filmed them all in slow motion, so it's just me going.
Oh no sound.
No sound. I was like, oh, maybe there's sound. I can speed it up, and I was like, no. So then I have all these New York videos that was filmed in the same park. It wasn't Central Park. It was like down by Statue of Liberty where you go for that. So I had to film everything because it was sort of my last day there. I'm like, I got to refilm those 7 videos now. So I'm in that one park by where the bowl is.
Yes.
And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, well, I'll just put a different angle because I had to make it up. So that is one thing. The P and Q setting.
Yeah. Okay. Stay away from that. Stay away from that.
Bad news.
My final note on the phone is when I do some vlogs, I will shoot some footage on the phone, and it's the footage. It's just like, I just really want to get a quick shot. I really want to say something. I don't have time to pull this out and flip this out and take it out of the case and put it on a microphone. I just, much like Mark was doing, I want to put it here. I want to put it on selfie, and I want to be like, hey, one thing you need to know when you come to Tucson is to eat the chimichangas, because chimichangas, they come from Tucson. Click. And so in that case, it was close enough. You could see me, you could see the thing, but it has to be in a place that's not windy. because if it's windy, then holding the phone out here, all you're going to hear is. Actually, hopefully this windscreen prevented that. Yeah. If it's a good windscreen, it would. All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks,
Samuel,
Chris.
thank you so much. If you want to check out more of their channels, link in the description below. And we're also shooting some other videos here together. If you want to check those out about tips for being traveling dads for traveling dads, or some of the best food here in Tucson, maybe tips for eating local, those links will be in the description below as well. All right. Usually we won't say goodbye because we'll see you in the next video.
Yes.
Boom.